to 11:30 a.m. It's all about the day-to-day activities in the Nigerian political space, views of political actors from various political parties on political process, views of labor leaders, and most importantly, your views of the common Nigerian. Tune in to Ebonade 103.5 FM or you join online via mixlr.com/gistfm every Monday and Saturday. What are your political views? Keep a date.
Ladies and gentlemen, tighten your seatbelt as we take you on this smooth ride. It's the morning drive on 103.5 Bona DFM, keeping your morning engaging as we take you through the smoothest ride on radio
from 7 a.m. to 9:30 a.m.
Getting your morning inspired, be informed. Let's interact only on the morning drive.
Make it a date with Martin Efanshuku, aka Meta,
and Christy F.E. Emenari, aka Classy.
From Monday to Friday, from 7 a.m. to 9:30 a.m.
on the morning drive.
103.5 FM. Good morning and welcome to Abona the 103.5 FM today, the 17th day of November 2023. Today is Friday and the time is 2 minutes past the hour of 7. It's time for newspaper headlines on Abona the 103.5 FM. This morning we are going to take you through the news making the headlines on Nigerian newspapers. But before we do that, let's go for a short break. When we come back, we'll continue on the stories making the headlines. Please stay with us.
You know that you have the right to quality broadcasting. The National Broadcasting Commission is any person, group of persons, or organization aggrieved by the content of a broadcast or the conduct of a broadcast station may lodge a complaint to the station and all right to the Director General, National Broadcasting Commission, number 20, Ibrahim Taiwo Street, Asokoro, Abuja, or send a mail via info@nbc.gov.ng. Please ensure that the complaint includes name of the broadcast station, title of the program, date and time of broadcast, and essence of the complaint. Also, remember to include your name, address, telephone number, email, and append your signature. Note that a complaint must reach the NBC within 14 days of the queried broadcast. NBC, your right to quality broadcasting.
You're welcome back to newspaper headlines on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. This morning, we are going to take you through the news, making the headlines on the Guardian newspaper, Leadership, Vanguard, Daily Post, Punch, Sun, The Nation. This day, and if time permits, we're also going to take a look at the Nigerian Tribune. Remember that you can become part of the conversation by sending your reactions via SMS or WhatsApp messages on 08096661035. You can as well join us on Facebook as we are live at Ebonade 103.5 FM. Drop your comment on the comment section of the link of the live video. You can equally stream us online via mixlr.com/gistfm. I am Martin. Let's get started with the Guardian newspaper this morning. International Center for Investigative Reporting picks The Guardian, 11 other journalists for Tax Justice and Equity Project. Ezekiel Petroleum signs $259 million project deal with Afrexim Bank. Insecurity. Buhari handed tough period to Tinubu. Ribadu laments. 2 commissioners abstain as Ondo ESCO passes vote of confidence on Akeredolu. Report raises alert to rise in measles cases, deaths in Nigeria. Being first lady in wartime, not prayer to wish anyone, says Olena Zelenska. MTEF, FSP. Nigeria can't rely on borrowing, must raise revenues to fund 2024 budget, says Edun. Appeal court sacks Zamfara governor. Others were run in 3 local government areas. Non-governmental organization seeks law to enable women inherit property in Plateau. Kogi distributes drugs, others to health facilities. Labour leaders laud Kaduna governor's release of 3.1 billion naira for gratuity death benefits. Taraba Assembly discreetly passes local government bus tenure amendment bill. Northwest governors up to African Development Bank for regional development talks. Right groups worry over delay by Governor Akeredolu to resume office. Senate panel chief Kingibe rallies support for women inclusiveness in governance. NSSEC calls for funding through 2% CRF. NITDA approves siting of Southeast Zonal Headquarters in Enugu. NDDC chairman harps on collaboration, renewed hope agenda. Court restrains Adeleke from removing Chief Justice, Judicial Secretary. Off-circle polls. Coalition of United Political Parties scores INEC high, says Kogi results reflects observers' accounts. Road crashes. Lagos records 128 deaths in 10 months. FRSC. NMPP debunks merger talks with other parties. Reps turn back service chiefs representatives. Navy destroys over 6,000 empty jerrycans, wooden boats in Badagry. Mba approves new wages for Enugu workers. Senate confirms Aminu Maida as executive vice chairman. NCC. APC grassroots movement pledged to rally second-term support for Tinubu. Flood kills 3, destroys 1,838 houses in Gombe. Official. Obi slams APC-led government over claims of inheriting bankruptcy nation. Troops arrest 45-year-old ISWAP informant in Borno. Lagos retrace ban on street begging. Enugu government introduces HPV vaccine into routine immunization. Labour Party debunks news of merger talks with political parties. USSD debts hit 200 billion naira as Teleco's plan cuts off. Court adjourns money laundering trial of ex-Lagos Speaker Ikovuruji. Labour Party not emerge with any political party. Publicity Secretary. Federal government to ensure establishment of disability decks in ministries, departments, agencies. Police arrest 2 motorcycle snatchers in Kaduna. Appeal court ruling. Lagos APC congratulates Sanwo-Olu, hails judiciary. China will not fight war with anyone. Chinji. Wesley University produces 38 first-class graduates. Honors Akpabio, deputy governor. Others. Passengers deported did not meet entry requirements. Saudi embassy. Why we suspended nationwide strike. Organized labor. Kanu bombing. DSS rearranges alleged mastermind. 26 dead. Dozens hospitalized in China building fire. State media. Currency depreciation. High energy costs worsens inflation outlook. That's the much we can take from the Guardian newspaper this morning. And from the Guardian newspaper, we'll flip over to Leadership newspaper. Can we survive the attack of big tech? NDE to develop roadmap on job creation, poverty reduction. Current Labour leadership selfish, partisan, hype man chairman. One killed as police, Shais clash in Kaduna. Shetima demands commitment to improving business environment. Shetima demands commitment to improving business environment. Civil servants and the scare of retirement. Presidency, Obi differ on federal government's spending, hardship. Appeal court declares Zamfara poll inconclusive. Bala, Yusuf, no fate. Supreme Court, Judicial Council to screen 22 justices. 65 years retirement age. Civil servants grab teaching jobs to remain in service. FJSC nominates PEPC. Share Samani, 21 others for elevation to Supreme Court. Tinubu secures multi-billion-dollar in infrastructure funding from Islamic Bank. Visa revocation, why we denied 177 Nigerians entry. Saudi Arabia. Still on the stories making the headlines on the Leadership newspaper this morning. 2024, Ibn Edom moves to join Edo governorship race as pressure mounts. Work with Uzodinma in Imo's interest. APC chieftain tells opposition. Kogi's research director says Ododo's victory is positive transition. Diri seeks legislation on vote buying. Imo polls marred with irregularities. International Observer Group gives INEC pass mark in Kogi election. We will take over more Southeast states. APC. High food prices push inflation to 27.33% in October. NCRIB quiz competition raises insurance awareness among students. And that's the much we can take from the Leadership newspaper this morning. And from the Leadership newspaper, we'll move over to the Vanguard newspaper. MTEF, FXP, we can't continue borrowing to fund budget. Edun, visa ban, UK varsities hit with low revenue as Nigerians turn to Canada. Fireworks as stakeholders interrogate national security, threats to election, media reforms. Editors confirm. Fireworks as stakeholders interrogate national security, threats to elections, media reforms. Editors confirm why kidnapping has replaced armed robbery in Nigeria, NSA. Total Energies hopeful of FID on UBETA OML 58 in Q1 2024. Ford Foundation supports FRSC on emergency response preparedness. Wives battered 340 husbands to pop in 1 year. Lagos government. Investment and Securities Bill transmitted to National Assembly, SEC. Capital importation to manufacturing sector rises 88.2% to $861 million. Plunging down a dark, bottomless hole. And still on the stories making the headlines on the Vanguard newspaper this morning, lone PDP member in Yobe Assembly defects to APC. Appeal court declares Zamfara governorship election as inconclusive. Adeleke shuns court order, appoints Justice Afolabi Oshun acting Chief Justice. Politicians are greatest threat to electoral process. Chima Amadi. Merging PDP with Labour Party supporters is like Ferrari engine in Peugeot. Shehu Sani. I didn't know burning Quran is offense. Tani Olohu begs Muslims. Malawi's president Lazarus Shakarewa bans cabinet members from foreign trips. That's the much we can take from the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And from the Vanguard newspaper, we'll flip over to Daily Post newspaper. Established Nigeria Benin Permanent Joint Commissions. Group urges government. Governor Oyebanji harps on need to bolster health care. We are not aware of shortlist of 22 justices for Supreme Court, NJC. Develop National Soil Information System to avoid hunger. Done once federal government. Oborowori defies court order, presents staff of office to new Delta monarch. Why I don't drink, smoke, Akpabio. Sanwo-Olu charges religious leaders on tolerance, perseverance. Prosecution of suspected terrorists resumes in 2 weeks. AGF, Fagbemi. Akwa Ibom road accidents, 15 dead, 62 injured in 10 months. Federal Road Safety Corps. Governor Obasani approves appointments with deployment in KADIRS. There are alternatives to corruption. EFCC chair Olukoyede advises youths. Army to conduct final disposal of unexploded ordnance in Owode, Ajileta. That's the much we can take from the Daily Post newspaper this morning. And from the Daily Post newspaper, we'll flip over to the Punch newspaper. European Union votes 24.4 million euros to curb arms proliferation in West Africa. Polio. Council boss flags off OBR2 campaign in Delta community. Osun Assembly suspends Chief Judge. Adeleke appoints replacement. Suspected terrorist trial resumes in 2 weeks. AGF. Defamation. Tani Olohun apologizes in court, gets fresh bail. Ex-Liberian vice president in narrow lead. European Union hails peaceful runoff. Don't brutalize people with disabilities. Group tells police others. Vote buying. Violence during off-circle polls disturbing. Abu Salami committee. SpaceX Starship launch postponed until Saturday. Community leader decries illegal dredging on East-West Road. Families of deceased corpses get 2.2 billion naira benefits. Israel Hamas, 2 feared killed as police chides clash in Kaduna. Stakeholders canvass reforms at Edo Alabodaro Summit. 3 years after, Rivers traders beg Fubara to reopen short market. Oba Akanezu Cultural Center rots away as weeds overtake complex. Protect new fighters jet. Air Chief warns officers. Delta community declares zero tolerance for crimes, social vices. Senate pushes for increased allocation for constituency projects. Jigawa Assembly suspends local government chair over foreign trips. Guinea-Bissau at 50. Tinubu pledges support for West Africa's democracy. Minister urges coordinated humanitarian response. Bandits kidnap Kaduna district head. Others. Lagos participation at UK Lord Mayor show historic. Sanwo-Olu. Government warns against using babies to solicit arms. Lagos State government removes kiosks on drainage setbacks, sales building. 178 back first class as University of Benin graduates 14,254 students. Senate confirms Meida as NCC boss. Edo, Delta students hail surplus support. Senate summons service chiefs, demand security rejig. PSC, MPF consider 65 years as police retirement age. Be patient. Inherited crisis won't disappear overnight. Ribadu, that's the much we can take from the Punch newspaper this morning. And from the Punch newspaper, we'll flip over to the Sun newspaper. Insecurity. JTF arrests 135 suspected criminals in FCT. Ikeja bomb blast. Army recovers, disposes 642 unexploded ordinances. PEBEC. Shetima seeks 100% commitment to cultivating conducive business environment. Labour Party debunks plan to merge with PDP. Senator Binos trains 50 youths in solar energy technologies skills. Tinubu back to Abuja after Saudi. Guinea-Bissau working visits. Our environment unfavorable to foreign investors. Experts. INEC observers group hails conduct of Kogi poll. Jenkos host communities to get 5% of operating cost. Open defecation still practiced in 669 local government areas in Nigeria. UNICEF. Organization sanctions staff on inaccurate report on ISTHCMD. FD. NMIA. Eze Cletus. Ilumania. Olori. Atuase. The third. Senator Abba Moro. First Lady. Rashida. Yahaya Bello. And others said to be honored in Abuja. Group passes vote of confidence on National Assembly clerk Sani Tambua. NDDC chairman harps on collaboration, renewed hope agenda. Middle Belt Group warns politicians against plot to destabilize Plateau State through court judgment. Nigerian Security Civil Defense Corps boss not shielding personnel from investigation. Coalition. Rep. Gadi tells PDP, count me. Judiciary out of your self-inflicted woes. Education. Skills development, panacea for tackling poverty, hunger, Shetima. PDP senators settle for North Central for minority leader. NDIS 2023. Sports tourism can be Nigeria's new oil. Eno. CBN upbeat on price stability as inflation declines. Labour Party warns members against unguarded comments. Cancellation of 264 visas, our story. Saudi government. NLC strike. Edo local government petition tribunal suffers setback as protesting workers disrupt proceedings. Institute of Architects laws KB governor over state development within shortest time. Mining. Nigerians in diaspora critical in sectors transformation. Alake. West perpetrating genocide in Gaza. Envoy. The calls for legislation to curb vote buying. Labour leaders consult after meeting with federal government. NIQS decries federal government's withdrawal of financial support to professional bodies. Obafemi Awolowo University confirms lecturer slums, dies in office. Federal government inaugurates 10-man committee on salt, kaolin production. APC strengthening democracy, not plotting one-party state. Willing party, replies Atiku. That's the much we can take from the Sun newspaper this morning. And from the Sun newspaper, we'll flip over to the Nation newspaper. Federal government to resume trial of detained terror suspects in 2 weeks. AGF Fabemi Adeleke directs public servants to wear Adire fabric every Wednesday. Impeachment. Ondo commissioners pass vote of confidence on Akeredolu. Ribadu. Security has improved under Tinubu. Court restrains Adeleke from removing Osun CJ. Orders fortification of security. Appeal court fixes Friday for judgment in Kanu Guba dispute. Red Bull launches project to showcase Lagos beauty. Chides 3 reportedly die as police disperse pro-Palestinian protesters in Kaduna. Ohaneze Ndibo lost Uzodimma's re-election. Still on the stories making the headlines on the Nation newspaper this morning. Education is quality, not free education needed. Preserve Nigeria's heritage. University of Lagos Library remodeled. Guarantee safety of white cane users. Varsity announces resumption date. How to grow economy through real estate by experts. Ex-bank chief to entrepreneurs take calculated risk. Sanwo-Olu, we are committed to positioning Lagos as Africa's financial innovation hub. Akpabio swears in Abia Central Senator. Akobundu. Nigeria to speed up Lagos-Abidjan highway completion, says Umae. That's the much we can take from the Nation newspaper this morning. And from the Nation newspaper, we'll flip over to this day newspaper. Yellow Tide. NAMA decries inadequate landing aids as operators fear Hamatan-induced flight disruption. Dangote seeks greater expansion of trade investment in Africa. Chetima, Nigeria's economic growth resets on improved public-private partnership. Chetima, Nigeria's economic growth reset on improved public-private partnership. Ganduje, we will use Imo as base to liberate Southeast. Wale Edun, Nigeria needs to generate adequate revenues, not borrowing to fund the 2024 budget. Gender inclusiveness, Senate advocates recruitment of more women in security agencies. Federal government inaugurates NDDC governing board, urges members to expedite action on 8-point agenda. Report highlights further risk to food, commodity prices in 2023-2024. FJSC shortlists 22 justices for elevation to Supreme Court bench. Housing. Federal government to upgrade 26 slums in Nigeria's 6 regions. Edo Fertilizer Company produces over 80,000 tons of NPK fertilizer, records 15 billion naira in sales. Dangote seeks greater expansion of trade investment in Africa. EcoBank, AGF, signed transformative $200 million risk-sharing agreement of Nigerian airlines and international destination challenges as Dana Air marks 15 years of scheduled operations. You are still listening to newspaper headlines on Ebona at 103.5 FM. We'll now go for a short break. When we come back, we'll continue on the stories making the headlines on this day newspaper this morning. Please stay with us.
Ezinụlọ Ichie Dr. Joseph Nwafọ amụma eze anọdụ Ichie Oriri one of Ukpo Dunukọta eze dibịa isi mmiri of Akaezi village Ukpo na-akpọpụghị maka emume akwamozu nke nna di nwanne nna nnukwu nna ha bụ late Ichie Dr. Joseph Nwafọ amụma eze anọdụ Ichie Oriri one of Ukpo Dunukọta eze dibịa isi mmiri Dr. Rams. Emume akwamozu ya ga-amalite na Thursday 16th November 2023, ga-abụ wetu Friday 17th November 2023, akwamozu n'ụzọ omenala yana isi mmọnwụ ndị omenala. Saturday 18th November 2023, 10 a.m. mgbalụ ndị ọgọ, ụmụada, ndị enyi, ụmụ nwanne, nwadịana na ndị na-echelụta ezi echiche. Sunday 19th November 2023, mgbalụ ga na-aga n'ihu. Tuesday Chiọma n'aha ezinụlọ.
Mgbe maka this boy a na-agba egwu, that guy na-enye nsogbu.
Ebona dị 103.5 FM na Babuwa Production.
Police for vigilante.
My business is mine now. When I will tell you AJJ radio drama, Erico. AJJ radio drama, Erico, Ghana Dialogue every Monday, 8 o'clock p.m. with a repeat broadcast on Saturday, 3 o'clock p.m. On Monday, 20th day of November 2023 m. Now, Ebona 103.5 FM.
If you move and finish your business,
How best can we talk about the challenges we are having on our streets, our community, our society in general? Street report. If we do not address these challenges on Ebonade FM, who will? As the happenings around us get as complicated as they can be.
Our government,
Whatever. Street report is here to make sense of it all. Street report is social change of your streets. In your community, Street Report is here with hardcore journalism to get to the roots of our problem. Why don't you join me, Martin Ifan Ezra number the first every Friday, 4:30 p.m. on Epona the 103.5 FM as street reports on fools
In your face.
on Emas in Epona the corner
24/7. 24/7.
You're welcome back to Newspaper Headlines on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. Remember that you can become part of the conversation by sending your reactions via SMS or WhatsApp messages on 080-9666-1035. You can as well join us on Facebook as we're live at Ebona, the 103.5 FM. Drop your comment on the comment section of the live video. You can equally stream us online via mixlr.com/gistfm. We are on to this day newspaper. Yellow Tide. NAMA decries inadequate landing aids as operators fear Hamatan-induced flight disruption. Dangote seeks greater expansion of trade investments in Africa. EcoBank, AGF sign transformative $200 million risk-sharing agreement. As Dana Air marks 15 years of scheduled operations, getting justice, giving hope to SGBV victims through Hope Renewed Initiative. Internal wranglings as main cause of APC's defeat at Bayelsa Guba poll. Bayelsa, Imo, Kogi, stakes too high for elections in Nigeria, says Sonaya. INEC declares PDP the winner of Bayelsa Guba poll, and that's the much we can take from this day newspaper this morning. And from this day newspaper, we'll flip over to Nigerian Tribune. Court of Appeal. PDP promises to review judgment, take appropriate action. Senate seeks establishment of Federal Data Bank. Experts set to address food insecurity, value chain development in Nigeria. Strike. More compliance in Oyo as public school students return home. 9 shortlisted for African Media Development Foundation Award. Ahead dry season, Oyo government sensitizes against Lassa fever, diphtheria, other diseases. Ex-JAMB registrar, Professor Ojerinde's money laundering trial stalled again. Senate okays amendment of Electric Power Sector Reform Act. Labor Union, okay, still on the stories making the headlines on Nigerian Tribune this morning. New Gombe Commissioner of Police promises enhanced security via community engagement. Kogi government distributes essential medical supplies to state-owned healthcare facilities. Reps urge federal government to dualize Ogun, Lagos Road. Senate pleads with NLC. Governor Alia commends Tinubu for fulfilling electioneering promises. That's the much we can take from the Nigerian Tribune this morning. That will also mark the conclusion of all that we have for you on this particular edition of Newspaper Headlines on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. We'll now flip over to our WhatsApp portal to bring you reactions this morning. On our WhatsApp portal this morning, we have this message that says, for Nigeria to grow, we need to chart a new direction, a matured, constructive, and purposeful approach to issues affecting the interests of our people. To me, that's what politics should be about. Honestly, as a people, we cannot fulfill our national aspiration, aims, and hope until we move away from our primitive, ethnocentric preoccupation at the national level and personality politics at the state level to politics of issues. The task ahead is greater and requires the honest involvement of all and sundry in the service of the nation. May God help us. Comrade Manley Oduago from Odumobosi, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have this message coming from famous Christian. He's joining us from Ifite village, Agolozibo, and he says, I want to react on the article that says I will take over other Southeast states. APC isn't an Igbo-friendly party. Such plots cannot work here in Anambra State. APC isn't marketable in Anambra State. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have this message coming from Engineer Ebuka Nwabufo from Amawa Obunike, and it says, constructing road from Nigeria to Abidjan is a waste of economic where there is so many roads to be contracted all over Nigeria. This government just doing things upside down. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have this message. This one is coming from Engineer Ebuka Joshua Dawson. He's joining us from 33, and he says Adeleke suspends Oshun CJ and directs deputy to swear in replacement despite court injunction. Doesn't mean that Adeleke is above the law. Kudos to our JTF as they arrest the 135 suspects terrorizing FCT. More grease to their elbow. I strongly commend the senator representing Southern Adamawa, Binos Dauda Yaro. Has he organized a 5-day intensive training in solar energy technologies for about 50 youths drawn from the 9 local government areas that make up the Southern Senatorial zone of Adamawa. Others should emulate such kind gesture. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have this message. It's coming from Chike Obata from Obinetiti, and he says APC should stop all this complaint and plan what to do for betterment of Nigeria. Borrowing is much in this country. APC saying they will take more states in Southeast. My question is, by voting or by rigging? Democracy is far from APC, so let them stop claiming they are practicing it. Okay, they are practicing it. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have this message. This one is coming from Godwin from Awada, and he says Nigeria is, and he says no need for elections. The politicians should continue with their selection. Godwin from Awada, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have this message coming from Jomag from Unkwere Naka, and he says Ganduje saying that he will use Imo as base to liberate. Ganduje will use Imo as base to liberate Southeast. What does he mean by that? Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We'll now flip over to our SMS portal to bring you more reactions. On our SMS portal this morning, we have a message coming from Mayor Onyunjikoka, and he says, please, those Ohanese, are they spirit or human beings? How can they lord elections in Imo State, looking at how the election was conducted? Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And then we have this message that is coming from Iweka Ifani from Ikenga Ogidi, and he says, the very moment rule of law is being respected by our politicians and our judicial system, is also being respected. That is when we will have a Nigeria we will be proud of. Our politicians are busy making this country unlivable for the electorate. Okay, your message is not complete, but thank you so much for joining us this morning. Let's see if we can get you more reactions on our WhatsApp portal this morning. From our WhatsApp portal this morning, we have a message from Obiora from Okuzu, and he says, why we suspended nationwide strike, NLC leader. All I know is that what makes you to suspend strike that is for the interest of the poor masses will make sure that the people that beat you before will beat you again until you do the needful for the poor masses. And he says, Ohanes Ndibo hails a re-election of Osodema, please. I am still asking, who is this people that answers Ohanes Ndibo? Please advise to Igbo elders, if there is Igbo youth, if there is, and other will indigenous Igbo people to rise up against these selected few people called Ohanes Ndibo, because they are serious disgrace to Igbo race and to their families. They are they are hungry people. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have this message that is coming from Amechi Anene from Uruwel, and he says, I don't think APC will work in Anambra State. They should go for another state. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Let's flip over to our Facebook portal this morning. From our Facebook portal this morning, we have a message coming from Ozo Francis Omaga Nnamani from Amagunze in Enugu State. And he says, it was indeed a disappointing game for the Super Eagles yesterday as they fumbled and wobbled to secure 1-1 draw in Uyo yesterday. Coach Jose Pesero and goalkeeper Uzoho should be shown an exit door at this point in time. And then he continued and says, Nuhu Ribadu, saying that Tinubu inherited poor economy and insecurity from Buhari. That's not what Nigerians want to hear at this point in time. What Nigerians want is good governance, improved standard of living, economic diversification, massive job creations, and an enabling environment. May God help us. Also, Francis Nnamani from Amagunze, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now, from our SMS portal this morning, we have a message from Honorable Onyedika Osape, and he says it is only impeachment that is being taken serious and attracts accelerated legislative action after many inducements. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And then we have this message still on our SMS portal. This one is coming from the boss from Okozo, and he says, "Thank God it's Friday. Nigeria is Nigeria better now. Happy weekend." Okay, Nigeria is better now. Happy weekend. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have this message. This one says, Governor Alia, as a priest, should know that he is a man of God and should always stand on the path of truth. There is nothing like an election in Nigeria. Okay, your message is still not complete, but thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's coming from Ifeanyi. Iweka Ifeanyi from Ikenga Ogidi. Now we have this message that says, APC eyeing some of the eastern states cannot be possible because Nigeria can't be one party system. It is coming from Akebe Amoke Onyenabana Umunachi. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We'll have this message. Okay, let's see if we can get you more reactions from our WhatsApp portal this morning. From our WhatsApp portal, we have a message coming from Ndubisi Okafor from Umueze Umunachi, and he says APC should stop giving excuses. A bad workman quarrel with his tools. Ndubisi Okafor from Umueze Umunachi, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And with that message from Ndubisi, this is the spot where we'll call it a day on this particular edition of Newspaper Headlines on Ebonade 103.5 FM. Remember, it comes your way weekdays in the morning once it's 7 o'clock date. And don't touch the dial of Ebonade 103.5 FM. Once is 8:20, we'll be back with Bit This Flash. Until we meet again, I am Martin. Have a wonderful morning.
Nabakuwa Production.
Police for vigilante. Now my business is mine now.
When I will tell you AJ radio drama, Erico. AJ radio drama, Erico, Ghana Dialogue every Monday, 8 o'clock p.m. with a repeat broadcast on Saturday, 3 o'clock p.m. On Monday, 20th day of November 2023. Now, F1 103.5 FM.
If you move and finish your business,
How best can we talk about the challenges we are having on our streets, our community, our society in general? Street report. If we do not address these challenges on Ebonade FM, who will? As the happenings around us get as complicated as they can be.
Our government,
Street report is here to make sense of it all. Street report is causing social change across your streets. In your community. Street report is here with hardcore journalism to get to the roots of our problem. Why don't you join me, Martin Ifeanyi, as our number the force every Friday, 4:30 p.m. on Ebonade 103.5 FM as Street Reports unfolds
In your face.
on Emazine Ebonade corner
24/7. 24/7.
Family is the foundation of the society. Now, the never 103.5 FM, wherever I get